start with some movement this afternoon because our brains probably, I mean, if your brain's anything like my brain, which it might not be, of course, there's been a lot of stuff going on, the nature of life. So we'll try and catch the body up with the brain and do some movement and then start to drop down, drop in a little bit. So let's begin. Bring yourself to a seated position. That could be sitting on your shins, it could be cross leg. If you have something to sit up on, you're welcome to do that. Not everybody has access to, a blanket or a cushion, but that can be really lovely for the spine to help lift the spine up, to sit on a little something. Oh, and I wonder if we can actually start by a little bit of quiet, even though there's a lot of stuff going on in the mind. So let's just really gently roll the shoulders forward, up and back. Try and relax as you go through this. Just try and relax your throat and your tongue. And by relax, sometimes that can be like, and my brain thinks like, am I relaxing my tongue? Like, what am I doing with my tongue? So it's just not pushing. The tongue's not pushing up, and it's not pushing down. It's not pushing to the side. Okay. So just a little bit of movement to start to bring our brains closer into our body, like, okay, yeah, I'm rolling my shoulders, no big deal, kind of understand this movement. And then this one, roll the shoulders forward, roll them up to the ears. And then as the shoulders roll down, take your shoulder blades softly down your back. So we're gonna try that one more time. See if your brain can connect as you release the shoulders down, take the shoulder blades down the back, and we're gonna pause there. We'll bring the palms to touch the center of the chest, the spiritual heart center, and gently take the base of the thumbs to touch your sternum. So you make contact. See if it's possible to start to bring the crown of your head on top of the base of the spine, even though there's curve in the spine for sure. And we'll take an inhale through the nose, fill up, and a big exhale out the mouth. We're going to do two more. Inhale through the nose, fill up. Option to sigh. One more time, big inhale. Hold at the top. Take just one thing from the morning. And as you exhale, let it go out of your body. Lips come to touch. As you breathe through your nose, you might shorten your breath a little bit. Feel the earth beneath your body holding you. Notice the texture and the temperature of the air or your clothes on your skin. Feel that. Notice your body breathing. And imagine that the thoughts that are running through your brain were clouds in the sky and they were just passing through. No need to hold on to anything. Earth beneath you, space around you, breath within you. Gently drop the attention, the awareness into the center of your chest, behind your thumbs, at your spiritual heart center. Notice what's there for you today. Maybe you notice something, maybe you notice nothing. If there's an intention that you have for your time, your practice today, reaffirm it here at the center of your chest. It might be a sound, it might be a picture. And together we'll broaden this, we'll amplify it. We'll amplify this intention if you have one, or if you're simply enjoying the space at the center of your chest. And we'll do that through the sound of Om 3 times. Inhale. Slow, full inhale. As you exhale, we'll bow the mind toward the intention or the space at the center of your chest, reminding us of the journey that we take, sometimes moment by moment, from the head to the heart, from the head to the body. On an exhale, releasing the palms, broadening the collarbones, and as you inhale, lift the chin parallel to the ground. If you haven't already, open your eyes. Stretch the legs. Good. We're going to recross the legs so you can have your other shin forward. And we're going to start by coming back to the shoulders and neck. So I'm going to slide a little forward because of the restrictions around me. You might do the same if you have any. We're going to take the left arm out. And as you exhale, we're going to sweep it behind your back, elbow bends. And sometimes the shoulder's going to roll forward. So we're going to push the wrist into the back and broaden the front of the shoulder. So we're going to do that with movements. We'll inhale, extending out, exhale, bend the elbow, press wrist into back, broaden the top of the shoulder as you exhale, right? So we're just going to go back and forth 3 more times with your breath. So the inhale lengthens the arm, the exhale bends and presses. And on your last one, we'll pause. I think I said 3, I don't know how many I did. We're going to pause. And we're going to bring on the exhale, chin to chest. Keep pressing the right wrist into your back to keep the top of the shoulder open, or the front of the shoulder open, chin to chest. And then we're going to inhale, basically quarter circles away from the bent arm. So when you inhale, the left ear comes toward the left shoulder, away from the right shoulder. And exhale, chin to chest. So we'll go back and forth a few times. Inhale, rolling. You can move your chin toward the sky or the earth. And exhale, releasing. So that right shoulder rolling forward, it will certainly take sensation away. So see if it's possible to leave that part of the body open. Next time your left ear rolls toward your left shoulder, we'll pause. Soften the right shoulder, leaving lots of room on that side of the neck. Staying here for a few breaths, maybe sending an inhale into a spot that feels tight, and your exhale softens your throat, your jaw. Option here, we're not going to push the head down. You can take the left fingertips by the left ear to lengthen. It's almost imperceptible. We're not pushing down, we're lengthening. On an exhale, your exhale, left arm releases. We'll inhale here. As we exhale, roll chin to chest. Inhale, keep the chin to chest, extend that right arm out. Exhale and release it. Inhale, lift the chin parallel to the earth. Long, slow exhale. Left side, inhale, left arm extends. Exhale, left elbow bends, forearm comes behind the back, elbow presses into the back to open the front of the shoulder. 3 more times. Inhale. Exhale. So you're moving, your breath is going to be a different cadence and a different length than mine. I'm really cueing a reminder to breathe and to allow the breath to be a big part of the practice. The next time that your wrist comes to your back and presses in, pause. Front of that left shoulder is open. On an exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, rolling right ear toward right shoulder, away from the left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Just taking your time. We'll do 3 more rounds. Your movement might be slower. Your movement might be almost imperceptible. You might be moving the chin toward the sky or the earth. You're feeling into your experience and allowing the breath to be a big part of it. Breathing into the upper body as best you can without adding tension to the experience. Next time that the left ear comes toward the left shoulder, we're going to pause, soften. Oh, sorry, the other way. Sorry, I was backwards. Soften the left shoulder. So right ear toward right shoulder. Sorry. You're welcome to stay here and breathe. Option to bring right fingertips toward the left ear, not to push down, but to lengthen. Shoulder blades down the back, tongue not pushing into anything. As you inhale, feel that breath come in and open the body. As you exhale, right arm releases down. Inhale here one more time. Exhale, chin to chest. Keep the chin to chest. Inhale, extend left arm out. And exhale, release. Inhale, lift the chin parallel to the ground. Extend the legs out. Have the legs be as wide as your hips. You can pull the buttock flesh back if that's nice for you. It's often nice for me just to be able to feel my sit bones push down. And let's all try it. Push the sit bones down. Extend through your legs as if there was a wall beyond your feet that you were pressing your heels and your toe mounds evenly into. You can see your toes. Go ahead and spread them out. So here we're lengthening the legs like we would in downward facing dog, in Uttanasana, standing forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. I mean, the legs would be wider, but we're extending the legs here. I'm going to do a very gentle twist. So we'll keep extending the legs, press the sit bones down. Inhale, extend your arms out or forward and up to lift up out of your hips. So see what you can do. We're not pulling the shoulders to the ears. That's really different. Shoulder blades are down the back. The arms can be as long as feels good, and they can be forward if that's better in your shoulders and neck. Press the sit bones down, extend your legs, and lift up as if you can. Lift up out of your hips, lift your torso up. Good, nice big inhale. We're going to turn toward the right as you exhale. So left hand comes to outer right thigh, keep the toes pointed up. Right hand comes behind you. You can put your fingertips to the ground if you like, to lift your spine up. So instead of turning with your spine rounded, press the fingertips to the ground, lengthen your back arm, and lift your upper back up. As you exhale, imagine turning your belly from the left to the right, but pressing through your legs. Instead of turning your neck more, inhale, lift up one more time. Exhale, turn your left ribs to the right. Inhale back to center. Extend your arms out or forward and up. Good. And as you exhale, press the sit bones down. We're going to turn the other direction to the left. So right hand comes outside the left leg or to the left leg. The hand behind you, left hand, you can press, if it's helpful, push those fingertips down like you got a cupcake. It's so precious, the frosting on cupcakes. So we have a little cupcake hand that's protecting the frosting, yeah? We push down, and that helps to lift the upper back up. So when we turn the right side of the belly to the left, the right leg wants to get shorter. We can all kind of feel that. You can look and see it. So extend that leg forward. Inhale, lift up. As you very gently turn, you can press into that left leg with your right hand. The right side of the ribs come toward the left, even a tiny little bit. Inhale back to center, lift up. Exhale, release the arms out and down through the fingertips. Good. And one more time, let's recross the legs. We're going to move into Sufi rolls. So we've been sitting for a little bit. We're about to not be sitting anymore. This might help a little movement in the hips. We're going to get the spine involved too. So I like to place hands on knees. Everybody's a little different. The reason I place hands on knees is the heart moves around the hips, and that helps to get the spine, the movement in the spine a little bit involved. So when I go back, the spine rounds, I'll hold onto the knees, go around and forward, pulling with my hands back, and that helps get a little bit of my upper back, a little bit of curve in the upper back, not just pushing my low back forward, right? And then round to the other side. So see if it's possible. We're going to do a few more rounds to start to sync up the movement of your body with the length of your inhale and your exhale. When it feels just right for you and in your own momentum and time, we're going to go in the other direction. So saying hello to the process of the movement, noticing what you feel in your back body, along your spine, in your hips, in your neck, saying hello to the interconnectedness of the body through the breath, through the fascia, through muscles, bone, tendons, through blood and bile. So we're saying hello to this body as a whole, not this body as a brain only. Brain is part of body. Good. One last rotation. And when you come back to center, take a moment to pause, breathe, eyes opened or closed. And just notice the movement of the body without physically moving. So it could be breath, it could be the sensations of the body, just noticing. Good, and then let's roll forward into a tabletop position. So we're just stacking here for a moment. We've got shoulders on top of wrists and hips on top of knees. Arms and legs are as wide apart as shoulders and hips. And just like we did a moment ago in these little Sufi rolls that we did, we're going to start to move the spine in the same way. So we call it cat and cow. I think it's also called Chakravakasana. And you can decide, you can kind of play with it. So you might exhale and round your spine, or you might inhale and round your spine. And you can notice the sensations that occur in these different experiences. Option here to add some wiggles. So the hips and head move left and right as there is arching and rounding of the spine. And one more round of breath and movement, allowing it to feel good in your body. And we'll come back to tabletop. Let's broaden the knees, big toes touch, and we'll sit the hips back onto the heels unless, for any number of reasons, that's not possible in the hips or the knees. And in that case, the hips will just come down as much as is comfortable. And we'll lengthen the torso with the arms plugged into the shoulder sockets so the shoulders aren't squeezed up to the ears. There's space in child's pose. Nice full inhale in child's pose. And a nice long exhale. If your forehead comes to the earth, good for you. If you'd like your forearms on the earth, that's just fine. One more inhale. A nice long exhale. Now here in child's pose, hips on the heels or lifted, we're going to walk the arms and the torso over to the right. Just as much as feels good in your body. And if your hips are on your heels, keep them there. So don't walk so much that your left hip comes off your left heel. Head can rest on the left arm. Press the right hand down and away from the body to help to ground. If it is, the hip is on the heel, to help ground that hip. If not, all good. As you exhale, imagine that the left side of the rib cage gently rotates down toward the ground. So we'll feel into the back muscles here, especially the back muscles from the low ribs to the hips. One more inhale. Nice long exhale. Letting go of the day, letting go of that experience. Inhale, walk back to center. And we'll go the other way now, toward the left. Head can rest on the right arm. Tongue's not pushing into anything, it's free. Left hand pushes down and away from the body to help to ground if hip is touching heel on the right to keep that grounded. On an exhale, gently rotate the right side of the ribs toward the earth. It's almost imperceptible. If you were looking at it, you probably couldn't see it, but you can feel it in your body a little bit. Notice if that helps you to feel a little bit of stretch in those back muscles. Not so much that there's tension in your breath or your face. If that's the case, come out of that shape a little bit. On an inhale, we'll walk back to center and we'll exhale. Let's inhale and slide forward. So lift your chest and slide onto your belly. And let's just bring the hands underneath the forehead for a moment. And we're going to lengthen. Yep, but I can be seen. We're going to lengthen the hip flexors here. So forehead on hands stacked underneath. Hands are stacked underneath the forehead. We're going to take the right leg, lift it up off the ground even a tiny little bit, and then pull that whole right side of the body down and away from the head. And then when you replace the right leg on the ground, hopefully that side, including the leg, feels longer than the left leg. Then we're going to lift the left leg up, pull from the hips all the way back toward the toes, and then replace that leg on the ground. Good. On an inhale, let's stretch the arms forward, this superhuman pose. I just feel like it's a really nice pose to start to feel what it's like to have a long front of the body. And what happens, and maybe you can feel this as you're stretching forward, we're not doing much yet, your forehead's on the ground. You can feel maybe that your low back feels like it's arching a little bit and the hip creases are coming off the ground. So take the base of your pubic bone all the way down, it feels like toward the base of the spine, the tailbone. And that's like, it's very hard to imagine that because it's deep within the body. But
see about taking that toward the ground. It's going to adjust the pelvis slightly and it will help to lengthen the low back, but then you can lengthen your low back, extending your low back through your buttock, and then start to stretch your legs back, even though they're on the ground. Bring some aliveness to them and stretch them back. And then stretch your torso forward, away from your hips. Stretch your arms forward, not so much that your shoulders come up to your ears, but you're just getting nice and long. And then exhale, release, bring your hands underneath your forehead again and rest. And then one more time, we're going to stretch the arms forward. You can pull each leg back again if you like, get a little longer in the hip crease, and then take all the way down at the base of the spine, take it down toward the ground. So it feels like your pelvis is gently adjusted. Your low back gets long. Stretch through your right leg, stretch through your left leg, keep stretching, lengthening, and then lengthen your torso away from your hips. Lengthen your arms forward, get a little energy. Your face can be, looking at the ground, but you're just getting longer. And then release, relax, and let go. Hands underneath the forehead and breathe. Beautiful. From here, we're on the belly. Let's roll over to the right side of the body. If you have a mat that you're working on, you don't have to, but if you do, bring this right edge of your body onto the front or back edge of the mat. What that does, you'll find, is that without some kind of guide, and I don't have one, certainly, usually what happens is that my elbow or my arm is forward, my shoulders are forward, my hips are back, and I'm sort of like all loosey goosey. My legs are somewhere. I don't even know where anything is. So, being up against the edge of something gives our body the experience of, oh, here are my hips in line with my shoulders, in line with my heels, right? So it's just an offer. The arm can stay long if you like, and head can rest on that arm, that right arm. And then what we'll do is just lengthen your ribs toward your underarm. Get a little longer in your side body. We're moving toward Anantasana, variations of Anantasana. So the legs are stacked. Press your legs together and take the heels away from your head. So as if there was an imaginary wall at your feet and you're pressing into that wall with your heels. This will help to lengthen the low back. You can use the left hand as a kickstand, certainly. You're welcome to stay here and breathe. It's feeling long. Option to start to slide that left foot either onto the right thigh. It looks like a tree pose on your side. Or, you might play with that if it feels better to have a kickstand with the leg. I think behind the left foot, behind the right foot is more reasonable. We're taking the thigh, we're starting to lengthen this left thigh. We're taking the thigh from the top to the bottom. So the left foot presses into the right thigh. The right heel is extending away from the body. And the left thigh is moving from top to bottom. And that gives a little bit of length here in the hip crease. Let's take another slow breath into this sort of side lying balance. And then let's release that leg, lengthen that leg if you bent the knee, and we'll roll again onto the belly. As you roll onto your belly, let's stretch the body long again in that superhuman pose. Get nice and long, taking the base of your spine down to the ground, and then lengthening the side body, lengthening the arms, and lengthening the legs. So the hips are extending away from the head, and then the belly and the ribs are extending away from the hips. And then let's exhale, bend the elbows, rest forehead on hands, release the lower body, and breathe. And then let's roll to the other side. We're going to roll into the left side of the body for this variation of Anantasana. Finding some line for this side body to be on. And you want it to be relatively comfortable, right? So there's bony parts here, and you've just kind of got to find that little nook of cushion. So shoulders, hips, and legs relatively in the same line. It takes a little bit of time to get that orientation of the body. So the head can rest on your left arm if that's nice for you, but let's lengthen that armpit. So I press down and lengthen the ribs and then extend the armpit. Now, some people feel very comfortable with that and want to bend the elbow and rest your head in your hand. Fantastic. If that's the case, lengthen your armpit a little bit more. Super. We'll take the heels, press the legs together, the inner legs together, and press the heels away from your head as if they were pushing into that invisible wall to help to lengthen the low back and the legs. You're welcome to stay here and breathe. This is lengthening the side of the body. This is engaging the legs. You're doing plenty here. Option to bend this top leg, the right leg, and place the foot just not on the joint of the knee, right? So it just doesn't go on the joint of the knee. Oh, I'm trying to find my balance. We'll press the bottom of the foot into that left leg, and that left leg is working a little bit. It's lengthening. It's not doing nothing. Top of the right thigh moves toward the bottom of the right thigh, and that gives a little bit of length in this right hip crease. One more inhale and exhale. And if you've taken this side lying tree, re-extend the top leg to meet the bottom leg. And then we'll all roll last time onto the belly. Very last time, superhuman pose, just to get some length on the low back. Pull the left leg back, pull the right leg back, lift and pull back. Extend the torso, lengthen the arms. As you press your legs back, you extend your legs back away from the hips, press the base of the spine to the earth, and lengthen the torso from your hips. Nice big inhale, and slowly exhale. Slide the hands beside your chest, please. Draw the elbows in toward the rib cage that you have more awareness of because of Anantasana. Extend your right and left legs back for a very low cobra here. As you inhale, soften the hands. There's not a lot of pressure there. Press the tops of the feet down and extend your legs back as you start to roll the top of your chest open. And then exhale, lower all the way back down. Release the legs. Inhale, draw the elbows in toward the rib cage, extend the legs back, start to lift and roll the top of the chest open so the upper back is starting to arch a little. Exhale, uncurl and lower down one more time. Inhale, lengthen legs, base of the spine is moving toward the ground, the elbows are in, The top of the chest is starting to open and then slowly lower down. Tuck your toes, please. Broaden your feet as wide as your hips. And let's breathe our way to downward facing dog. Hands and feet can be as wide as shoulders and hips. And it might be in your practice that you like your feet a little closer together. That's completely up to you, of course. Let's walk the legs out a bit. You can lift one heel, press the other one down as you exhale, and then inhale, lift that heel and press the other one down as you exhale. Good. So just be even. And once you're even, let's have the feet as wide as the hips. And we're going to lift the heels up off the ground. The shoulders are going to want to come forward, but don't let them. Don't let them when you lift your heels. The upper back does not go forward, so you can make that adjustment. We're just going to lengthen the side of the hips, the sides of the hips. So we'll inhale here. As you exhale, bend your right knee and push your hips toward the right. The left side of the body will get a little longer. Inhale back to center. Exhale, left knee bends. Hips sway to the left a little. Right side of the body gets a little long. And breathe into that. Good. Inhale to center. Exhale, walk your feet toward your hands. Bend the knees and drape your belly and chest over your thighs as best you can. Drape your belly and chest over your thighs as best you can with your knees bent. Bring the weight out of the heels, please. A little forward. You can release the arms if that's comfortable. You've got weight in your toe mounds. Go ahead and do that. Push the weight into your toe mounds. And as you exhale, push without moving your body. You're going to just keep your weight in your toe mounds and then push your heels down without moving the weight back to lengthen your legs even a centimeter, and then exhale and bend them again. So as you inhale, you're going to push your heels down without pushing the weight back. You're going to keep the weight in your toe mounds. And as you push your heels down, lengthen your legs. And then exhale, bend your knees again. I'm going to try it a couple more times. Weight stays forward in the toe mounds. Push into the heels to start to lengthen your legs any amount. And exhale to bend your knees. Last one. Hands come to the ground, back to downward facing dog. Good. Inhale to tabletop. And exhale to child's pose. Unless child's pose is not comfortable, maybe hips don't come to heels, and that's not nice for you, you can just come onto your back. We're going to meet you there in a moment with your legs into your chest. Good. So if you're in child's pose, as promised, we'll walk the hands forward, come up, and then come onto the back. Good. So as you come onto your back, let's take if you're already on your back, you can stay there, of course. With the feet on the ground as wide as your hips, take your buttock flesh in your hand and just pull your buttock toward the heels to lengthen the low back. Good. And then press your elbows down outside your body. And as you do that, you can lift your head even just for a moment and pull the flesh of your mid-back toward your head and then lower down. So you've spread out your low back. Good. Let's bring the legs in, give them a little hug.
Maybe it feels nice to rock a little side to side. Have it be purposeful. Breathing into your back body, noticing any little areas, nooks and crannies that are asking for some attention. And then we'll come back to center and keep the legs together, hands on the knees. We're just going to make circles with the knees. So as we exhale, the knees can move off to the side and away from the body. And the inhale, the knees can come around the other side and back into the body. So although the legs are together and the legs are certainly moving, I think I said this before, I don't know if it's been in here or not, but allow the legs to do less. Move the legs with your arms instead. Good, and then when you're ready, we're gonna go in the other direction. And you might rock onto the buttock flesh. Give that a little massage. And when you're complete, we'll come back to center. We'll keep the right leg where it is. Either fingers are behind the knee or on the shin. And we're going to take the left foot to the ground. Draw this right leg in. Rather than pulling it toward your rib, press the shin more parallel to the ground. You can try it. Pull the knee in toward your rib and you'll feel maybe what happens in your low back, like the buttock lifts off the ground. But if we press the shin more toward the earth, the whole low back flattens out. That's what we're after. Inhale here, release the shoulders to the ground. And as you exhale, we're going to take the left heel and slide it forward until the left leg is long. Keep some attention in that left leg. So instead of the toes rolling out, like we were in Dandasana, the toes face the sky, the toes are spread. We're pressing through the heel. We're pressing through the toe mounds a little evenly to lengthen the low back. On an inhale, we're going to draw the left leg back in. And on the exhale, right foot to the ground. Soften this left ankle and take the shin toward the ground instead of pulling the knee to the rib. On an exhale, right heel slides long, lengthening the right leg into an imaginary wall. If you have a wall there beyond your feet, push into it. You'll feel something. It's quite nice. But we're extending through that leg, pushing through the heel, spreading the toes to give the belly some relief, to let the belly relax. Good. On an inhale, draw the right leg back in. Both legs are in. Instead of drawing the knees toward the ribs, press the shins down toward the ground, parallel. Good. And then let's take the feet to the ground. Good. Feet are as wide as the hips. Here we're going to press the heels into the floor and then relax. So have your toes spread out. Press your heels to the ground. Notice what happens in your buttock. Maybe it feels to you, I'm not sure, but what it feels like to me is that the buttock get kind of light. They want to lift up, and then I release and everything falls back down. So try that again. Press the heels down, spread the toes, and release. So we're going to move through a little bit of flow in bridge pose, but we want the heels to be working well so that the low back is engaged. So let's take the arms long beside your body. If you have a mat that you're lying on, go ahead and grab the mat with your hands and pull the mat toward your feet. That will help to take your outer upper arms down. And you can rotate the shoulder blades in already. If you don't have a mat like myself, extend the arms so they're long and press the palms of your hands down. Take those outer upper arms down. As we inhale, we're going to start to press the heels down. And when we press the heels down, let that start to lift your hips up. And as your hips lift up, we're just going to see what movement there is in the quadriceps. Might feel tight, we don't know. And then slowly lower down. But as you lower down, keep pressing through your heels. Take your spine slowly to the ground, vertebra by vertebra. Let's move with the breath slowly. Heels press down, outer upper arms press down. As you inhale, we're lifting the hips, the low back, the mid back up off the ground. As we exhale, we're slowly lowering, continuing to press through the heels and beyond the floor underneath the heels, helping to lengthen the low back, taking the buttock toward the heels at the very end. I'm going to do a few more rounds. Outer upper arms press down, heels press down. Now you can see your own knees. And as you go along, if your knees want to splay out, it's your job to keep the knees in line with your hips. They're not going to go out and they're not going to go in. Last one. And then let's rest. Maybe the elbows bend, hands come to the low belly. Maybe your feet get a little wider or slide away from your body so that your low back feels nice and spread out. Breathe into the belly all the way down by the hands. Feel the belly lift the hands up. Inflate. And as you exhale, feel the hands fall from the belly falling. 2 more rounds of breath. Inhale. Inflate the belly. Exhale all the air out nice and slow. Tongue's not pushing anywhere in the mouth. Good. One last time. The heels are underneath the knees. The legs are as wide as the hips, toes pointing directly forward. If it's nice in your body, you can certainly take the heels out slightly. Arms are long beside you, or you're holding on to the outer edges of your mat and pulling the mat away from your head. Let's all start to roll the shoulder blades underneath the body so the outer upper arms push down. As we inhale, let's push the heels into the earth to help lift the buttock. Take the outer upper arms down, lifting the hips. Keep pressing through your heels. Spread the toes. As you come up, we're going to pause wherever you pause. Imagine taking the tops of your thigh
toward the bottom of your thigh, toward the top of your knee, like we did in that tree pose. You're welcome to stay here, breathing. Take the tension out of the jaw, or you could interlace your fingers, rolling your shoulder blades more deeply underneath your body. We're all going to keep pressing through the heels and taking the top of the thigh toward the bottom of the thigh. One more inhale wherever you are. As you exhale, keep pressing through the heels to keep the low back long. Slowly lower the back body down. Start to take the buttock towards your heel. Get longer in your low back. Go ahead. As your back body comes to the ground, pause. Hands to the belly. The feet can slide away from the body or get a little wider. And just a few slow breaths into the belly. Feel the hands lift and release. So one more like that. Slow, full inhale into the belly and relax. Good. A little twist to end. Twists are often nice after a little back bend and help release the low back. So let's bring the legs into the body one more time. Press the legs together. Jatha Parvartanasana. So the arms will come out to the side and we'll go back and forth. So the knees move to the right toward the right elbow. Inhale, they come back up. Knees move to the left elbow. Inhale, they come back up. So you can have your palms pressing down if you like, or your palms can be up. You can bring your thighs in as close to your body as feels good and as accessible as it is to you. And you'll notice maybe that when you bring your legs a little closer in, it rounds your back, your low back, and that might feel nice. I'm just going to do a couple more rounds. Can you imagine that when your knees go, for example, to the left, your ribs and your belly move to the right? So you're turning away from your legs. Your torso turns away from your legs. It's not your tongue. That's the hard part. Your tongue isn't going to get you into the pose. Darn it. We're turning the belly and the torso away from the knees. Good. When you're complete, just take your time. We'll come back to center and a little tiny happy baby pose. So the legs go wider than the torso. Hands can come inside the legs and hold anywhere that's accessible. The knees bend and the bottoms of the feet either face the sky or the knees bend more and the heels can come toward the hips, toward the buttock. You'll feel different sensation in each one. So here we can feel the length of the spine on the ground. And the more that you release the hands down the legs, the more of your low back and your buttock will start to come to the ground. One more breath. Good. Let's bring the legs back together. Slide the feet to the ground. And we'll move into Shavasana. If you'd like, from here, you can slide your right leg forward and long, and your left leg forward and long. Your legs can be as wide apart as feels nice. And you can even take your right arm and extend it out to the right. Get nice and long, all the way to from your shoulder blade and then release. And same thing with your left. You can lengthen and extend from your shoulder blade all the way out through your arm and then release. But maybe there's
something that your body's asking for in Shavasana. You might like to sit in Shavasana, or you might like to have something underneath your legs or your knees or your head. Take a moment to lower the eyelids or close the eyes and start to release the focus on cultivating your breath. And instead, just begin to observe how your exhales are shortening and softening as your body relaxes with each shortening and softening exhale. And softly notice your body held by the earth. Begin to observe your inhales. On an inhale, gently slide hands to touch the belly. On an inhale, heels slide toward the body. Extend one arm across your ear so that as you roll to that side, you've got a pillow for your head. Just be on your side for a moment. Let your head feel heavy as you press down with your hand and forearm to roll yourself back to a seat. Bringing the palms to touch one more time in front of the center of the chest, and taking a moment to notice what's present in your body, in your breath, and in your mind. And to honor our own and each other's practices, this practice of coming back to the wisdom of our bodies, our interconnectedness. Option to end with the sound of Om. Inhale. Om. And exhale, bowing the mind toward the center of the chest. Shanti, shanti, shanti.